Welcome to the So You're a Single Parent, Now What podcast. My name is Crystal. I'm your host, and thank you guys for joining us this week. Now, I have a brand called Six Figure Single Mom. The Six Figure Single Mom brand is less about the money and it's more about your mindset shift, right? Because when you shift your mindset, the money automatically comes. Now, don't get it twisted. I am a six-figure single mom, but it was my mindset that took me to the money. So I am a career coach and strategist. What I do is I career coach single parents when they want to advance in their careers. So basically, in a nutshell, I teach them how to leverage their skill sets. If they need to learn how to negotiate, I teach them that as well. I teach them how to interview. I also teach them resume tips and things that can get them advanced in their careers. So let's just say in a nutshell, I teach single parents how to boss up whenever they want to advance. So we go from a defeated mindset to a winning mindset to a very disciplined mindset. I love what I do because what I do changes the trajectory of a household. So I love it. Now, I am doing a few interviews series, and this is all about interviewing other single parents who are doing exactly what I'm doing, right? So very progressive and very productive things. And so what I'm doing is I'm just looking internally in my network because I feel like those are the parents, single parents that should be highlighted first, right? So I think that if you have someone close to you or if you have someone in your network, because we all know that networking is building relationships. If you have people in your network that you feel like should be highlighted, then highlight them. Give people their flowers while they're living. And that is exactly what I want to do with these interview series is give people their flowers while they're living. So without further ado, I have a guest today who I have known for many years. So DeMarcus and I have known each other for many, many years. I'll just say that for many, many years. And as long as I've known DeMarcus, he has been a very stand-up guy. He has been a great father. Anything that his daughter needs or even her siblings, he is always willing to help. And I wanted to highlight DeMarcus because DeMarcus and I are consistently talking about our careers together. We are consistently talking about ways to advance. We are consistently talking about finances. We are consistently talking about lifestyle. So we discuss a lot of things. So I figured, why not make DeMarcus an interview guest? So DeMarcus, how are you doing?
I'm all right. And yourself?
I'm doing well. So tell the audience a little bit about yourself and so that we can go from there.
What do they want to know?
So you work in
Transportation field.
okay.
Just recently left a job that I was with for 12 years to start my own thing. But in between that, another company reached out to me to help start their tanker division. So I'm there now, but I'm still building my brand. So come March, I'll be up and rolling.
Nice, nice. So how many children do you have?
2.
Okay. And what are the ages and
15,
stages?
15 and 16-year-old.
15 and 16-year-old.
2 girls.
2 girls. So DeMarcus is a girl dad. So I'm sure you can relate to my dad. My dad has 3 daughters, 3 granddaughters, right? So I'm sure the girls have you wrapped around their fingers.
Unfortunately.
No, seriously, DeMarcus is such a sweet dad. Like I said, anything his daughter needs. And one thing I like about DeMarcus is he is always teaching everyone around him the game. So if he knows something, then you're going to know it. One time I talked to DeMarcus, we were talking about debt consolidation. And DeMarcus was like, well, I feel like you need to do this or I feel like you need to do that. So just tell us a little bit about how it's been being a girl dad. Tell us about how it is having 2 daughters in high school.
Man, don't get me wrong, I love it. But now they're at the high school stage where they're making their own decisions, which don't sit well with the parents.
Yeah.
You know, so it's the part of I dislike, but just got to continue to let them know, hey, this is how we raised you. We hold
Yeah.
you to these standards. Just because so-and-so doing something You don't follow lead. You be a leader. Someone that we both parents have always taught you.
Yeah.
And of course, they still make mistakes.
Yeah. So do you want to tell us a little bit about how you became a single dad, or what stage in life you became a single dad? How old was your daughters?
Oh, let's get back to that one.
Okay, we'll come back to that one. So, DeMarcus became a single dad, and DeMarcus's daughter stays with him. One stays with him, and one stays with her mom. But he, like I said, he's on it, like grades, teaching responsibility, and this and that. So, how do you take care of yourself in regards to self-care? Because a lot of times as single parents, we give it all we got because we're just one person taking care of the whole household. So, what do you do for self-care?
They're at the age now where I don't have to babysit them. I don't have to find somebody to come babysit them.
Yeah.
Then I have people around me. Hey, you're going to your auntie's house, you're going to granny's house. So I have a support system that allows me to still do me while I'm still being, a dad.
Yeah. Yeah.
Both their moms, they go to moms anytime. They be with their mom. So it's more so what I do. Man, I forgot the question really quick.
Well, that's great that you have a supportive family, because sometimes I always feel like as single parents, some people feel like we don't deserve to have fun. We don't deserve to unwind. We put ourselves in this situation. So it's great whenever you have a supportive family that can take the load off of you. So how much pressure and stress is it on you to be a single parent?
Man, I don't really have no pressure, but it is stressful because, like I say, you can tell your kids, you can give them the game, the advice, but just like us coming up, our parents told us the route they wanted us to go. A lot of us did it our own way.
Yeah.
And so when they bump in their head, it's like, bro, you didn't have to do this. Like, why did you do this?
Yeah.
I told you the outcome. But what I'm learning is you have to let them bump their head some. And with girls, it's a lot of different because, you can bump your head and, it can cost you in the long run.
Yeah. Yeah. A lifetime of everything.
And especially going into, a 10th grader, 11th grader, two girls that's active in school festivities. Now you got these boys. So it's a lot of, now that part's a lot of stress.
Yeah, because you used to be one of those little boys, didn't you?
Unfortunately. And it's coming right back to me.
And it's coming right back to you. That's what happens when you have little girls.
That's what I don't like. Now that 12 and under stage, I loved it.
Yeah, yeah.
But yeah.
So what's your communication style? Like, say, for instance, if you do want to have a talk with your daughters, do you sit them down? Do you take them to dinner? Is it informal, formal?
We do a lot. Like, we do a lot. We do it through text message, but we also do it, they be in the rooms, cooked up. Hey, come out here. Let's talk for a little while. Or get on the phone and talk. Let's talk.
Yeah.
Like with Egypt, it's more so I talk to her a lot more because she stays with me.
Yeah.
So I'm like, come out the room. Let's sit down and talk for a little while. Like, what's going on? Of course, no matter how active I am, one thing that stresses me out about the girls is you can be active and there 24/7. They're still not gonna be comfortable to talk to you a lot of stuff because you're not a woman. And so it took me a while to finally understand that, because at first I couldn't understand. I'm like, bro, we could talk about anything. Like, I'm daddy. Like, I talk we had these talks. I talk to you bluntly. I don't sugarcoat it. So if anything going on, come talk to me. Come holler at me. But what I learned is, no, it's not gonna happen.
No, it's a little cringeworthy to be talking to your dad about certain things.
Which I don't like the fact, but so my sister and them, that's the go-to person. So, and I don't ask no questions. I'm like, yeah, I got it. Okay.
Yeah. So that was the thing that DeMarcus just brought up, and I didn't know if you wanted to bring it up or not, but DeMarcus's daughter, one of his daughters, she actually stays with him and visits her mom on the weekend. So they work together. And
excellent co-parent.
Yes, they work together to take on the responsibility of their daughter. And I think that's great, because every single parent is not, doesn't have the support of the other parent. There are some single parents that are in a co-parenting situation. And in this case, I love it because most people would assume that he is, just only having his daughter on the weekends. But this is, again, the reason why it is so important for me to highlight those people that I know that are pretty much taking care of their children, but the males especially, where their children are actually staying with them. So that I just commend, and I don't. Some men don't take that very kindly when I commend them, but I commend the women and the men for that, because the men feel like, well, that's my responsibility. You don't have to pat me on the back for doing anything. But again, I commend the women as well as the men. So that's great. So you and I talk finances a lot. You and I talk career a lot. So in your career, have you had to pivot, or have you had to not take certain jobs because your daughter does stay with you?
Yes, and I turned down a lot of money.
Yeah.
So therefore I could be at home, working on the weekends or working late at night. And like,
Sure.
nah, I can't, or have to leave work early. Like, I'm not missing fixed activities. Like,
Yeah.
I'm not missing.
Yeah.
I worked in the chemical plant, working 7/12s, 6/12s, 13 days on, 1 day off. Like, that's not for me, because I've learned that making memories is more better than money. Now,
Yeah.
don't get me wrong, I love money. I'm very blessed, but I'd rather be a dad at the end of the day.
Yeah, that's important. That's another thing to highlight, is that we cannot take jobs that, like you said, are working late, especially at this stage, where our daughters are in high school. I have a 15-year-old, my daughter's in high school, and no, I'm not going to work an overnight job, or no, I'm not going to work a job where it's extended amount of time, because if I'm away from the house for an extended amount of time, there's no telling what she can get into. So that's another thing, is we cannot take every role that we desire to take. We have to be the responsible party that takes a job where we do get off at maybe 4 or 5 and can get home to our kids, because you got dinner, you got homework. Our kids are involved in activities, and we always talk about that. So we are it for our households. So when she gets grown, do you think you'll start back to kind of take on some of those roles that you weren't able to?
Most likely. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
Going out to college and got to pay for that.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. I always say the same thing. I'm like, oh, when my daughter gets grown, will I go back? Like, when we met, I was working on site. Yeah. I was traveling every other week, every week to go back to the sites. I would come home on the weekends and go back to the sites. So, there comes a point in time in your life and your career where the money is good, but it's not good enough to be missing out on certain things with your children. So in our careers, again, we kind of have to tiptoe around those jobs that give us what we need financially, but allow us the flexibility to get to where we need to be with our children. So let's talk finances. DeMarcus and I always talking about finances. We love finance. I'm a numbers gal. I'm an accountant, a cost analyst. I love numbers. DeMarcus has been a homeowner now for how long?
13? Going on 13 years.
13 years. DeMarcus has been a homeowner for 13 years. So what have you loved most being a homeowner in regards to your finances?
You always have to have a cushion. Because anything can happen. Like, I remember 3 years after staying in the house, my water heater in the attic, and I come home from a Little League football game, my whole house flooded.
Wow.
Yeah. Insurance covered some of it, but I still had to come out of pocket some.
Yeah.
And just recently, I had to call the AC people out. This Houston heat, I had to replace the capacitor. So you always got to have a cushion.
Yeah. So is there a certain threshold of a cushion that you normally recommend, or is it just kind of whatever you can save?
And I like to say, especially with the economy, the jobs, people losing jobs left and right, it's coming back up. But at the end of the day, I say at least have 3 times what your mortgage is.
Yeah.
That's, to me, if you got my truck note, I got it 3 months ahead.
Yeah.
That just, if you're able, I would say do that, because if something happens, you're able to sit back, okay, not stress so hard. So
now, do you recommend like a certain term, like a 15, a 30?
I recommend, if you can afford it, well, first of all, don't ever get a house that you can't afford on one income. But if you can afford it, do a 15 because like here is on year 13. It was a 30 at first, but switched to a 15. Guess what? In 5.5 years, my house be paid off.
Mm-hmm. That's good advice. That's good advice. Now, in regards to saving, just in general, not regarding your house, in regards to saving, what do you recommend? Because I know your savings be on swole, you know. So don't sleep. Mr. DeMarcus got it made in the shade. That's why I say DeMarcus and I have been really good friends because I learn stuff from him all the time and vice versa. So what is your recommendation in regards to saving?
Man, look at every time I get paid. It depends on how much you get paid, but transfer some money before you even pay bills. Transfer some money out their account so that when you pay your bills, okay, I don't care if you got $400 left to the next pay period. Budget yourself like, okay, I want to try to say 200 of this.
Mm-hmm.
So it's all about budgeting yourself. It took me a while to understand that.
Yeah.
About the budgeting side, and once I finally understand it, it's been talk to my mom and them about it, my sisters about it, other family members about it. I'm like, hey, yeah, we can go mess off money all day long, but what does that do?
Yeah.
Because if you don't have no cushion, you don't have nothing put up. You working just
to pay bills.
Yeah, exactly.
Yep.
And I've done that before. I've been paycheck to paycheck.
Yeah.
And that's something I say I don't ever want to go back to. Nothing wrong, if it happened with some people, that's fine. But it's nothing I want to go to because that wasn't comfortable for me.
Yeah. So how long have you been out of that space where you felt like you were living paycheck to paycheck?
It's been a while.
Yeah.
It's been a while. It's been a while. It's been a blessing a bit. It's been a while.
Yeah.
It's been a long time.
But when you know better, you do better. Yeah, exactly. So like you said, whenever you learn how to save, then you start doing that. And I think a lot of times when we think about saving, people think you have to save thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars. Like you said, if you got $50, save that.
Man, when I first started saving, every paycheck I was happy to save $100. I was happy to save 100. Then I jumped it up to 200. It's like, okay, why you not putting more in there?
Yeah.
Because why? I want to go buy some shoes. I want to go buy an outfit. I'm like, where you going? You work Monday through Friday on the weekend. Right. Most time, everybody know I'm a homebody. Most time you at home. So I like
in his garage.
Yeah, in my garage. Everybody know that. So
yep.
I push myself harder. It's like you can do more than that. So I start working, more going in early. Like, okay, now I'm finna save $1,000 out of each pay period. So I started challenging myself, and I take it as a challenge every week.
Yeah, yeah.
Every week is a challenge.
And I think that helps too because, like you said, your daughter is involved in activities.
Yes.
So those activities cost money.
A whole lot.
And, there's only so much that you can do whenever it comes to saving, financially paying out when you're not saving anything. So that's a pro tip for the audience. DeMarcus said he saves and challenges himself to save more and more and more and more every time he gets paid so that he can have a cushion to fall back on. Because when we have kids that are involved in sports, or when we want to take a nice trip, or when we want to buy a new outfit, we're not buying it every week. However, if we want to, we're able to do that. And we have the funds to do that. Like DeMarcus said, in his house, if a water heater or if an AC goes out or something like that, you're not panicking or trying to take out a second mortgage on your house just to pay for certain things. So saving is a really, really, really big tip in regards to being a homeowner, in regards to sustaining and maintaining your home as well. So career, finances. So will you ever consider working for yourself or getting a side hustle or something like that?
Everybody know that I do the flip houses as well on the side. And that's going great. Right now it's at a standstill, but that's going to start back up. And then, like I say, I plan on starting my business come March. Everything's still flowing. So
tell us about flipping houses, because when you first got into it, I know that you were saying that there was some things some lessons learned that you had that you wish you would have known beforehand. So before anybody jumps into the real estate game, it's levels to this. Yeah. If you don't have the funds to do it, and I'm not talking about your funds that you need to live, I'm talking about if you don't have the funds to do it, extracurricular funds, don't even get involved because you just never know what's going to come up. So tell us some of the lessons learned that you've learned from flipping houses.
I think the biggest lesson learned is try to find one contractor to do everything. If you try to, okay, this person do it cheaper, this person do it cheaper, you got 20 different people
Yeah.
doing different projects. At the end of the day, you're only saving a couple $100.
Mm-hmm.
So that was one of the biggest lessons I learned. Like, I rather give me the bottom dollar, how much it's gonna cost. We're gonna pay that, and that's what I expect.
Yeah.
And also, even when you flip houses, when you buy these properties, whether you go, most time you have to get a loan because when you buy these properties, they want their money right then and there. So
Mm-hmm.
you paying these lenders, you got to have that money put up to pay them lenders. And of course, their interest rate is higher.
Yeah.
And even this last property that me and my business partner did, 2 weeks before we closed,
Yeah.
closed, somebody came and stole the brand new AC unit that was out there. So
I remember that.
yeah, so we had to 2 weeks before we closed, we had to replace that whole AC unit, brand new AC unit.
And what was the cost for that?
Almost $3,000.
Almost $3,000.
And even with that, the area we built at, the appraiser came back and haunted us. Well, we didn't make the money we wanted to, but we still, made some money. It's just my thing, do your homework. That's what I'm doing now, So
Yeah.
So when I do start back, the money I want to see, I'm gonna see.
Exactly. So do your market research. Before you jump into the real estate game, do your market research. Make sure the area is good. Make sure when you putting stuff in these homes that you have a way to lock it down or that you have a way to kind of sneak it in. I know what some people do when they flip houses is they don't do a lot of stuff in the daylight. Like if they do want to bring a new AC unit in or whatever it is in the house, they bring it in during the nighttime because people not knowing what you're bringing in, so there is levels to this, but I think it's good to have lessons learned because wherever you start, that's not where you finish. Like you said, yeah, we anticipated to get a profit of this. We didn't get that, but also too, the next time we go to buy a property and flip it, we know what to do and what not to do.
Exactly.
Yeah, because that's another thing is your appraisal and any homeowner, but your appraisal, if it comes back less than what you anticipate, then you're not able to get as much of a profit as you would like to get.
Exactly. Like they basically got a brand new house, but at the end of the day, we still made something. My name was behind this, so guess what? You got a good house.
Yeah,
Brand new
yeah.
house. And if you follow me on Snapchat, you seen the process.
You did document the process on Snapchat. What was the time frame of the flip?
Well, we started in October last year. We actually finished in December, but what took so long was waiting on the windows, and the windows took to January.
Yeah,
and we sold the house in January.
Yeah. So that's another thing is the materials. I'm sure it's hard to get.
When we first started, the material was cheap.
Yep.
But by us going through so many different people and not just sticking to one person, when the material went up, guess what? The cost went up. Oh no, we can't do that price, but I'm like, all right, okay, cool.
Yeah. So that's a very important tip as well is yesterday's price is not today's price.
We found it out quick.
You got to lock in. You got to lock in whenever you get that quote. If it's a good quote, lock it in because that's another thing in finance that we talk about is yesterday's price is not today's price. You come back to me today, I might be $2,000 or $3,000 more than what my initial quote was. So I work in the construction industry and that's what we do. I analyze costs that have to do with construction items. So our procurement lead times might be 2 to 3 weeks, but if you wait a week, that 2 to 3 weeks could turn into 5 or 6 weeks. And we have a schedule that we are due to the client. We have a schedule. So if you don't meet that schedule day, then we get financially penalized for that. So that's a very good thing to look at as well is the procurement items are not coming in as quickly as we would like them to sometimes. So that's another thing. So when do you anticipate to do another flip?
Next month. It's already in the process, but
I told y'all.
I don't you know me where I'm a quiet person.
Yeah.
When I started the flip thing, no one knew until I started saying it. So next month. Actually it's in the process now. So
yeah.
So that's
so starting or selling? Starting. Okay. Well, that's a good thing.
But speaking on the finance about yesterday prices, not today prices, speaking back on that,
Yeah.
just Friday I found out I lost a contract with a carrier. Well, I take it back with a company because a carrier underbid me by $500.
Mm,
Well, we had this contract for a while, so
mm,
and come to find out they call like, they underbid y'all, but they don't give you the quality work that y'all gave because they're missing appointment times. I said, well, guess what? When
mm.
y'all come back to me now, guess what? The price is higher.
Yeah.
So companies got to realize that you can go the cheaper route. You can go the cheaper route anytime, but it's gonna cost you when you come back to the people that you need.
That's right. The bottom line of it, excuse me, the bottom line of it is that I feel like is when you have something good, lock it in.
Yeah.
And that is applicable to all areas of life. When you have something good, lock it in because again, yesterday's price is not today's price. I always say that, in my business, if you come to me a year from now, what I charge right now, I might not be charging a year from now. And you have to respect that because if you don't decide to lock it in today, over that year, I'm acquiring more skills. I'm attending more workshops. I'm sharpening my skills, even further. So if I'm better, now the thing about yesterday's price is not today's price means that if you do charge more, make sure that your skill level has increased or gotten better as well. But again, you can't get mad at nobody because they increased their price.
Exactly.
Yeah, so that's just what's understood, don't need to be explained.
And that's another thing where I tell people who's trying to get in the transportation world. Like you have a lot of people come into it. Like I have a cousin who only been home about 3 years, but I gave him pointers.
Yeah.
He started his hot shot business. I'm like, hey, the goal is get in good with these carriers, the
Yeah.
companies, and find out who does the contacting for the loads. And you take care of them on the side. And guess what? And now he has the contract with them. He's the only driver. So you went from being a hotshot person to their driver. You still
Yeah.
working for yourself, and you making over 15, 20 a year.
Yeah.
I mean, 20 a month. I'm sorry about that. 20 a month.
Yeah.
So it's
So at the end of the day, that's what I talk about on this podcast too, is networking.
yes.
Networking is building relationships. No matter where you are, no matter what business you're in, always focus on building relationships because you just never know.
Yes.
That's one thing I like about you. I've heard you on the phone doing logistics, in transportation, and, you're very kind, you're very knowledgeable and things like that. And when you present your best self whenever you are speaking to these people, then they're willing to work with you even further. If you say, hey, I started a business, you have a contact. Now, sometimes you can circle back or you can't because of, terms and conditions of your job. But at the end of the day, again, always building those relationships is what's the most important in business in general.
Exactly.
So you told him right.
Yeah.
I told y'all DeMarcus be on his stuff. Don't sleep. Don't sleep.
It's a lot of people, like I say, any knowledge I have, that's even with this, when I started the flip housing on the side. I told my daughter everything that I had going on. I showed the paperwork. Now, whether she listened to me or not,
Sure.
at least she can't say my dad didn't try to show me.
Mm-hmm.
I show her my account. Like, look, baby, you got to work hard. Nothing is given, so you got to work hard for everything. And like I said, a lot of people that jumped in transportation, I gave them advice. I don't know everything about transportation, but anything that I know, I'm gonna pass it on.
Yeah.
And I have classmates who then skyrocketed in the transportation world. Like someone came in thinking they were gonna make $90,000-$100,000 a year. I had to tell them, like, bro, it don't happen like that. Your first 2 years, you're not gonna see it.
Yeah.
My first 2 years, I was happy to make 70,000.
Right.
80,000. I feel like, I was on top of the world.
I was talking to somebody about that yesterday. This person owns their own trucking company, and his truck went down. And when his truck went down, I mean, you talking about tens of thousands of dollars to get your truck fixed.
Yes.
And instead of just sitting around waiting, what I told him is that I respect you because he got smart about it. He said, well, I'm gonna lease a truck. And instead of just sitting around, which is what I've heard a lot of truckers say, oh, I lost my truck, it needs to be maintenance, or there's something wrong with it, so you just stop working altogether. It's like, no, find a solution to your problem. Don't always have a problem and then just sit on that problem. Be proactive, be solution oriented, because in any of our industries, anything can happen. So we have to be cognizant, and we have to always have a contingency plan. When you don't have a contingency plan, you know that something is going to go wrong at some point. I mean, you can't, it's like when you drive your car. You can't expect to just drive your car for years and years and years, never need an oil change, never get a breakdown, never get a flat tire. Something is going to happen. So I just told him, I said, I respect you so much because you found a solution to what you were going through. So the transportation industry in general is endless. The possibilities are endless.
Yeah, it's getting kind of ridiculous though.
What
For
you think? What you mean by that?
because you have so many people who's getting into
Jumping into it.
jumping into it, and they underbidding themselves on loads. So a lot of
Mm.
these guys, like I have sent loads to guys. I sent a load to a guy from Houston to Lafayette for $600. I'm like, bro, that's only gonna cover your gas, but he underbid everybody. You know, the high bid was $1,700.
Wow.
$600, you gonna get there on time? I bet. I done been in different positions. It's like, and that's what I tell people. It's, it's you gotta, yeah, this transportation. You
Do
gotta
your
think
homework.
just because you own an operator or you doing your own thing, you got to be smart about it because if you driving somewhere making $20, you did nothing
Yeah.
but put wear and tear on your truck. And a lot of people don't understand that. Like, yeah, you can run around the world. I'm a truck driver. What are you getting out of it?
Right.
If you making $40,000, well, I guess you might well stay home and make $40,000, be home with your family.
That's right.
And some people, it take them a while to understand that.
Yeah.
And some guys, I have older guys like, I ain't never think about that. And they appreciate me to this day.
That kind of makes me cringe a little bit because, I'm a cost analyst and I'm like, you have got to analyze your costs because the financial risk versus the financial gain is so important. Like you said, you don't want to be taking a load somewhere and you can only pay for your gas.
Exactly.
You got to pencil in your profit. You got to pencil in food. You got to pencil in, your meals, your anything, your time. You got to pencil in everything. You have to consider all the costs before you take a load. What do you recommend? Isn't there a dollar per mile? What is
it's so different right now.
It varies.
It varies right now. But
Okay.
my thing, just do your homework. Don't hop on the first thing. You have brokers out here,
Talk about it. Talk about it. Let's get into it.
the brokers killing the game because they're getting the loads.
Yep.
But then, if they make their money, they got to shortchange you.
Yep.
And you have guys getting the loads and thinking, "Oh, I'm winning." No, you're not winning because that load was $3,000 and you got 1,000.
And the broker got two.
Yeah, and long as the brokers keep doing that freight board gonna always look crazy.
Yep.
And like I said, I'm on a lot of Facebook posts, and Facebook groups about trucking, and everybody, a lot of truck drivers had the same gripe. It's like, y'all taking any loads, that's what's killing the game.
Yeah.
And that's what's killing it.
Yeah, that's something that is talked about a lot. But I think it speaks to know your worth.
Yeah.
Whenever you decide to step into any industry, know your worth, know your cost, because if you're not making a profit, like you said, then you just putting wear and tear on your vehicle,
Yeah.
as well as your body. And you being away from the people that you love, I'm sure your family, your friends, everybody, not having a social life just to not make any money. So you have to know your worth.
Yeah.
Yeah. So logistics wise, that's what do you look at in the transportation industry? Because I know I hear some people say they'll find a load, but then when they get to where they're going, they want to make sure they have a way to get back home. So you set it up like that, or?
Well, me, I deal with more so on tankers.
Oh, okay.
And most of tankers, you gonna go one spot, but then you come back empty.
Gotcha.
And so the reason why I like tankers because you can't underbid tankers like you can do with box trucks or flatbeds. Tankers a whole different ball game. To me, it's easier, but a lot of people don't like to deal with it. Tanker way easier than box. I done did the box. I haven't did the flatbed, but where I'm at now, they have a variety of everything. And I be looking at the loads. I'm like, tank load would have been triple times that.
So for our audience, for those that don't know what a tank load is, can you explain like an overview of what a tank load is?
If you see like the gasoline trucks, but not the gasoline is considered tankers. Okay. But I deal with chemicals, sulfuric acid, caustic, bleach, isopropyl alcohol, different type of chemicals.
Okay.
So I like dealing with those because you can't shortchange me on that.
Yeah.
Because you can't.
Yeah. And is it because the risk is higher when you're transporting chemicals, or is it just because there's not a lot of tankers?
The risk is higher, the price of the chemicals. So it's a lot more to it than you don't know if you're going somewhere you're gonna unload it. So you gotta unload it, you gotta have a pump, you gotta have the equipment to offload.
Mm-hmm.
So it's more into it, but at the end of the day, it's more fun, it's more beneficial.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like I said, I done did the box truck, and I liked it when I did it, but when I got exposed to the tanker side, I'm like, oh, I'm never going to the box side again.
Yeah. Yeah.
And ever since then, when I was with a company called Univar, I was over the tanker division. Hey, them guys, they tell you, he kept us busy.
Yeah.
If you didn't make over 120, that's because you didn't want to.
Right. Right. So that goes to show you that in your career, as a single parent, as a parent, as just a professional, you got to do some strategic thinking. Always be thinking about what you can make, always know your worth, and always know where you're going. Always have a plan. And it's okay to pivot. I think that's what I heard you say there too, is I was working on this, but then I had to pivot when I realized that this was more lucrative. The tanker side was a little bit more lucrative. So yeah, I'm going to pivot because it's just the smart thing to do.
Yes.
If I can make more money, why would I not do that?
I have never been that person that's been comfortable at one spot.
Yeah.
No matter what company I work for, I have never been, oh, well, he a truck driver. No, I'm not just a truck driver.
Yeah.
And companies have understood that. I went from being a truck driver, I'm sitting at the table with owners.
Right.
Like, what you think can help our company out? Game.
Yeah.
And guess what? They fell in love with it.
Wow.
So somebody never seen that. I ain't never think that would happen, but it happened, and it's a blessed situation.
I love that, DeMarcus. I just love the evolvement, how you've evolved over the years. And when DeMarcus and I have conversations, he is always like, man, God has brought me from such a long way. I never thought that I, like you said, would be sitting at a table with some owners telling them my knowledge, just over the years, things that I've learned. So it just goes to show you that experience matters. Experience means something. When you get on these jobs, get on your job, learn what you can, and always strive to do better. Always strive for that career advancement that this podcast and YouTube channel is all about. Always be striving for more. No matter if you're a single parent or if you not a parent, if you have kids, whatever it is in life, you have to do that. But especially for those of us that are single parents, we definitely have to do it because we don't have anybody else to lean on. Even when you are a co-parent, you know that there are certain expenses that you just on the fly are gonna buy. So we always want to secure the bag. It's all about securing the bag.
And planning ahead of time.
And planning ahead of time.
Like I start school shopping way in June.
Yeah. DeMarcus does do that. He started school shopping in June. I'd be like, I need to get on your level, DeMarcus.
I was blessed with a kid that, like I said, she been size 5.5 since 6th grade.
Wow.
She going to 10th grade.
Yeah.
But I had to learn her style of clothing because at first I was going to buy what I wanted to buy.
Yeah.
I'm like, why you not wearing that? I don't like that. So I had to learn it. I'm like, okay, go pick your card. Let's go through it together.
Yeah.
Then,
No crop tops. No low ride.
You can crop top.
Oh, we do. We doing crop top. Oh, Lord.
I don't like it, but it's like, I don't like it. But
yeah, my daughter's in the studio today with us, and yeah, we don't do crop tops.
Was crop top the one that showed the belly button?
Yeah, that's the one that showed the belly. Yeah.
Like they be tying up the regular shirts, and I'm like,
yeah, see,
I kind of put myself in. You think about when we was in school.
Yeah.
The parents who were strict on their kids, didn't let them do nothing.
Yeah.
As soon as they came to school, they were totally opposite.
Yeah.
And so, like, I'm not saying you finna walk around looking like a hoochie. Like, that's not gonna happen.
Sure.
Like, I got Egypt asking right now, can I get a belly button? No. You're not getting a belly button pierced.
Yeah.
What about when I get to 16? Let's talk about when you get to 16. But it's like, allow yourself to grow up first. Don't rush it because other people do it, because I can control how other people parent.
Right.
I can control how I parent.
So. Yeah, I'm having those same conversations about the belly button ring and about the crop tops and about,
but they make all these shirts at crop top now.
That's true. That is so true.
It's like men. It's hard to find shorts now because They done came out the hoochie daddy shorts. And
Hoochie daddy shorts. We love those.
no, I don't.
We love hoochie daddy
That's not for
shorts.
everybody. Like one thing for everybody. I'm not wearing a hoochie daddy short. I let mine come to the knee or right at the knee. So it's
That's funny. I love hoochie daddy shorts. I think they so trendy, and I just think they so
I
cute.
don't follow. I don't follow all the trends. So it's like what I
But you
like. What I
got
like.
you got style,
I know. But I don't
DeMarcus. You
follow all
got
the.
style.
I'm not wearing no hoochie daddy shorts.
You know when?
So
Okay.
I need mine to come to the knee or lip, right, at least the
Okay.
knee.
All right.
Pop up
Okay.
shorts.
Now we're gonna move into our last topic, which is lifestyle. So, Mr. DeMarcus, how is it dating as a single parent? Honest answers only.
Man, it was to me. I didn't have a problem with it. The thing is, if I took everybody on a date who wanted to go on a date or inbox me like you're handsome, I love the type of father you is,
Yeah.
I'd be broke. And a lot of people don't understand. I never voiced it to people like this. If I take everybody on a date who takes an interest in me, guess what? I'm gonna be spending half a paycheck.
Yeah.
And that's not nothing I'm gonna do.
Yeah.
So you have to be working my time.
Yeah.
Not saying that they're not working my time, but I have to see something like, okay, let's go somewhere.
Yeah. So let's talk about that. You talked about paycheck. What are your thoughts on child support?
I was blessed to never have to deal with child support. Even when Edie stayed with her mama, I was that dad from day one. School, I bought all school clothes. Daycare, we split daycare. Wintertime came, I bought the winter clothes, winter jacket.
Mm-hmm.
How I grew up in school, when I started working, I stayed dressed up, shoes. So I always envisioned like, hey, when I have a kid, my kid gonna be the same way. And that's exactly how I handled it. So
Yeah.
as far as Egypt mama, she didn't care. She like, shit, I don't pay nothing. I don't do nothing.
Yeah.
Hey, I just take care of the kid. He do everything. Else.
Mm-hmm.
So I never had to deal with child support. Now, listen to my mama when I was, younger. Boy, go put child support on yourself. Ooh, and I did. And the people like, they told me how much I'm paying. I'm like, hey, no. She like,
I'm good.
She was like, I don't want this. You came up here. So we ended up doing away with that because, it wasn't needed.
That was a blessing though. There are a lot of women out there that would have pushed for that, even if the father was involved and was doing what they were supposed to do. But it's just a blessing when you get honest women who don't just want the child support. Because if you have a father that's there, present, doing what they have to do, there's no reason to file child support at all. So that's your thoughts overall, is that if it's needed, file. If it's not needed, then both parents should be able to work together.
My thoughts on child support is, granted, it's both y'all kids.
Mm-hmm.
If the kid live with the mama, hey, help out. You don't know how far. I got all school clothes, and we'll split the shoes or go far. I have homeboys that tell them, hey man, you out of pocket with that. Like,
Yeah.
you have to do more. And of course they, but guess what? They respect me at the end of the day because
Right.
I was right. Then so when they go to child support place, like all they do is do this. Yeah, that's all you have to do.
Right. Right.
So to my guy that's not on child support yet, hey, just continue to buy your kids stuff. Be at the programs because that means more to the kids than anything.
Right.
Just listen to the other parent. Like y'all learn how to co-parent.
Yeah.
And that's the biggest thing, co-parenting. Like, hey, tell me what the kid need. I got you. Like we don't have to deal with child support.
Yeah.
I was blessed not to ever have to deal with it, and I'm happy about that. Because
I know that's
I hear
right.
stories. I was like, you pay how much? Yeah, that don't sit well with me.
Yeah, that's a big hot topic in regards to men, is how much money they have to pay for child support. It's like, I encourage anybody, if you can work together with the other party, then work with the other party to just try to reach a resolve. You pay for this, I pay for that. You pay for that, I pay for this. Because I just feel like it's better to work together than to have to bring a third party in to tell you something. They don't know all the logistics of what y'all got going on. They don't know that you picking the child up a couple times a week outside of what you're supposed to be doing, or they don't know the child is with you most of the time. They don't really know all the ins and outs of y'all situation. So I always encourage people, if you can take care of the child support thing in-house without a third party coming in, then do that. So I'm gonna ask you, right? So this McDonald's situation that everybody was in an uproar about on social media. So it turned out that it was a skit, but I still want to get your thoughts on it. I know what you would do, DeMarcus. Let me tell you, DeMarcus will buy everybody in the house something to eat. That's just how he is. But what are your thoughts on that video?
For me, like you said, I would have bought someone to eat. If I didn't have it, hey, I'm finna pick up my kid. We're gonna go somewhere real quick.
Yeah.
But how she handled it, like, what is you doing going on social media? And that's the part I didn't like. Like,
Yeah.
what you supposed to do? But at the end of the day, it's not his responsibility for the other kids. I'm that parent. I don't like no kids feeling left out.
Yeah.
So yeah, so that's.
Yeah, I already know what DeMarcus would do, because DeMarcus, you just that kind of guy. You would
like, I seen the video a couple and it just made me mad. So I like,
yeah,
I'm not watching that no more, because at the end of the day, I would never send no fools to one kid.
Yeah.
And you got 4 of the kids in there, of course that can bring some jealousy.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's like, then you putting a rip between siblings.
That's right.
And so, nah, I wouldn't do that.
Yeah.
If look, you want McDonald's, okay, take you some McDonald's. We come back home. Hey, go remember and get your sister or brother them a $5 pizza. Yeah. Or something.
Yeah. No, when I saw that video, initially I was like, you know what? That's not their responsibility. Those of y'all that are watching live, drop in the comments what y'all would do if y'all were in that situation. Like I said, I know DeMarcus. DeMarcus would have bought everybody in the household something to eat. But just tell us in the comments, what you would do in that situation, or even the child support conversation. What are your thoughts on child support? Do you feel like a third party should be involved if both parents can co-parent like they should? Let us know what your thoughts are on that. Because we want to know. Also, too, if you're not subscribed yet, go ahead and subscribe, because this interview is everything. Everything.
They get one in with this dad dealing with girls in high school. It's a whole different topic.
Listen, let's talk about it. So dads, DeMarcus said, get a panel in here of dads, single dads who have daughters. And, let's get the conversation started about some of the things that you guys are going through.
Not just single dads. You have dads that's with both. You got, when you're dealing with a kid who changed.
Yeah.
Not for the bad. Like I say, my girls are awesome.
They are.
But, you dealing, they in the high school now, so you got the boys pulling at them. Then it's like you got friends that's more advanced than you. It's like, hey, stay focused.
And then your body is changing too.
That too.
So that's another thing that I don't think dads understand, is like, your body is doing certain things that you don't really understand. Certain body parts are growing out, and it's like, what do I do? I'll be honest with you. When I started my cycle, I called my dad. I was in Virginia visiting my grandmother, and I called home. My mom answered the phone. I was like, let me speak to daddy. Let me speak to daddy. Because I'm a daddy's girl. And I'm like, Daddy, this is what happened. He was like, okay, go tell your grandmother, go take a shower, kind of walk me through, what to do. But yeah, there's a lot of young girls that wouldn't do that, because it's just awkward. It just being a woman in general and things changing all the time is just awkward. So we're not going to escape your dating conversation. So I know a lot of women, because, I'm not going to lie, our heart melts when we see a dad taking care of their children. So I know them DMs be lit. What your DMs be like? Honest answers only.
Oh, man. The DMs stopped now, but the DMs was jumping.
They was jumping
for a while. Like I say, I tell people, you can get the attention of 100 people.
Yeah.
If you're not feeling that person on that type of level, it's not going to do much. Because, like I say, if I would take everybody out that was in my DM, I would be.
So what are some of the DMs that you used to get? Because I'm getting your drift that you not getting them anymore by choice. But what's some of the things that the ladies would be saying to you to kind of get your attention?
Man,
I mean, just, the stuff that you can say on here.
I done got some pictures, some videos. I done got let's go out.
Okay.
You'll be a good dad. We should have a baby together.
Got,
all type of DMs. I'm like, yeah.
Wow.
And I don't see nothing wrong with it. Like I said, I'm a person, if you know that's what you want, go get it.
Yeah.
But for me, I don't. If I'm not feeling that person, it ain't going nowhere.
Yeah. So in your dating life, do you normally just date on the weekends because you're busy with work and your kids' events, or do you plan it out? How do you do? Do you schedule it out?
Whenever it happens.
Oh,
It,
you just
whenever it happens.
oh
Like I said, the girls, like I say, can't stay with her mom.
yeah,
Egypt stay with me, but Egypt at the age where I don't have to watch her.
right.
And so if I decide I'm gonna do something, guess what? I'm gonna go do it. Like, hey, go to your mama house, go to Auntie house, granny house or something.
Yeah, yeah.
So
So dating is not an object, but one thing I heard DeMarcus say was that he's not gonna waste no money because this is another thing that guys talk about all the time is if you were dating someone, everyone that hit your DM talking about you look good, you got a good job, you're a good dad, DeMarcus said he would be broke.
I would. That's
So
the
listen, we can't be going out on all different kind of dates. So last but not least, I want you to tell my audience what are some encouraging words that you can give to some dads out there that are just because everybody doesn't have your situation where they co-parent well with the mom. I'm sure you know a lot of guys that don't share your same situation. What are some encouraging words that you can give to some other single dads that are just trying to make it through this whole ordeal? Because none of us wake up in the morning and or none of us plan in our lives to say, you know what, when I grow up, I want to be a single parent. So what's some encouraging words that you can pass along?
Man, don't give up. Fight for your kid, because if the other party tell them this and then you're not fighting on the other end, they gonna believe it. So keep fighting. Don't give up. I had a situation where a kid was lied on me before, and to get my name off the situation, the courts gave me hell. I don't know if I'm supposed to say that, but gave me hell. Like, it cost a lot of money to get my name off of it, and it made me seem like I was a bad person. I'm like, it's not my kid though. And so just keep fighting for your kid, man. Fight. Document everything. I had a coworker who won because of his kid, because they had a child support order. The mom wouldn't let him get the kid. So when the court judge, like, you know what, you got the kid now. And so just keep fighting. I know it gets frustrating. It's very expensive, but if you want to be in your kid life, you got to pay that price.
Yeah.
And keep fighting. That's my thing. Keep fighting.
Yeah. Well, thank you, DeMarcus. I appreciate that. I appreciate those words of wisdom. Listen, this is DeMarcus Thomas. DeMarcus, like I said, has been in my life for a very long time as a great friend. DeMarcus has been there for me in some times that some very, very dark, low times for me as a friend, as a mentor status, because DeMarcus had his house before I bought my house. So I was going to him about stuff regarding my house.
Stress for no reason.
And he laughing because I stress out about every little thing. But DeMarcus has given me advice. DeMarcus is a great father. DeMarcus is a great role model. He's been involved in a lot of Little League football teams just to try to be that role model that our young men need today. So anybody that is in your life, if they are doing great things, if you have learned nothing else today, give them their flowers while they are living. Okay. When you see people that are rocking it at life, anything lifestyle, career, single parenting, regular parenting, just give them their flowers while they're living. And again, it's not to say that we're patting you on the back for doing what you already know you need to do. But like I said, it's just acknowledging and highlighting you for all the positive and progressive things that you are doing. So listen, again, if you are not following me on Instagram, I would love for you to follow me on Instagram. My Instagram is at the Six Figure Single Mom. Again, at the Six Figure Single Mom. Also, too, if you want to advance in your career, learn some tips and tricks on how to do so. If it's resumes that you can't understand, if it's interviewing skills, if it's how to negotiate your salary, if it's leveraging your skill sets, please send me a note on my website at www.sixfiguresinglemom.com. Go to the contact screen, fill out the form, and listen, I will contact you personally to do a discovery call to see how I can assist you. Also, too, listen, if you are watching on YouTube and you are not subscribed, subscribe to the channel. What are you waiting for? We have all this good knowledge that we're going to be bringing to you. And remember, single parenting is not a gender specific thing. There are some great men and women that are raising very productive children. So until next time, be the change that you want to see in the world. What that means is don't look to your neighbor, don't look to your left, don't look to your right. Be the change that you want to see in the world. Until next time, my name is Crystal Smith. Thank you again, DeMarcus Thomas, for coming to visit with me.
Appreciate you for having me.
No problem. Crystal Smith, also known as the Six Figure Single Mom. Until next time, bye.